Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to my channel Learn English. Today we'll be learning another writing skill, which is film review. And here we'll be understanding the various steps of how to write a beautiful film review, which will help the viewer decide whether to watch a particular movie or not. Before understanding how to write a film review, let us understand what is a film review. Film review is an analysis and evaluation of a film from a viewer's point of view. A writer points out good and bad elements about the film, thereby giving an opportunity to a viewer to decide whether to watch a particular movie or not. A film review can also make the reader curious about the film. Nowadays, number of films are produced on various social issues. It becomes difficult for a viewer to watch every movie. A film review on criticism provides some information about the movie. The subject, the storyline, theme, etc. are known to the reader and thus he can decide about watching the film. The reader is provided knowledge information about the overall quality of the film. So let's get started and understand how to write a perfect film review. Question 1, icebreakers. This is a dialogue between Minnie, Ritu and Paddy where each one is deciding to go for a film called Aladdin. However, Minnie says that it has only one star, therefore they should watch Harry Potter instead. So let us understand what are these star ratings and how it is associated with film viewing and how can we write a better review depending on the stars. So what is a star? A star is a symbol of rating the movie from 1 to 5. It was back in 1928 that a newspaper film critic, Irene Thinner, initiated the grading system on a scale of 0 to 3 status. Stars are given to a movie to know how good, bad, or average a movie is. So if a movie has one star given to it, we can conclude that the movie is not worth watching and hence we do not have to waste our time watching that movie. Let us understand what the word review means and how is it different from summarizing and appeal writing. So the film review is an expression of your own personal views towards a particular film, documentary or a movie. So it is a person's own review, a person's own views. You do not have to be an avid reader or a writer. Whatever you think about that film, good, bad or average, that will be called as a review. A film review also gives you an opportunity to express opinions about the movie, including its characters, plot and background. So how did you like the movie? You will explain how the movie was, what the plot is, who the characters were, and what the theme or the background of the movie is. The Jungle Book, which was an old movie and brought to life once again on the big screen in a wonderful way. So this review is written by Times of India by Regan Gavin Rascuha on the 9th of May 2016, and the rating that he has given this movie is 4 on 5, which means it's a pretty good movie. So this movie, written by Rudyard Kipling's classic tale of a young boy who was brought up in the jungle among various animals, is brought to life once again on the big screen in a wonderful way. So if you've noticed that the Jungle Book was made few years back, however it was remade in the recent times with the languages being altered variously. So this young boy named Mowgli leads a very peaceful and happy life with his wolf pack family led by Akela and Raksha Until the tiger Sher Khan enters the scene. So this movie in the English version has different names. However, Mowgli's name is Mowgli throughout the Jungle Book. So Sher Khan is bearing an old grudge and an insatiable desire for revenge. The review of the Jungle Book. If you go to the cinema to watch a movie that will draw you into a fantasy world of wonder, Favreau's retelling of the story, which so many of us remember from childhood, manages to weave that magic. We all now know how the story plays, with Bagheera and Mowgli trying to help each other to stay away from Shere Khan. He also encounters the devious python Ka, a supersized orangutan with a soul singer's name King Louis, desperate to obtain that red flower, that is the flower of fire, and of course Balu the grizzly bear. These are the key characters, but you will also be delighted to discover few entrance along the way as well. It all builds up on the charm of 1967 film, which by itself is a must watch for any child. So this film was made in 1967 and remade in various other languages with various other names. And it says that it is a must watch for each and every child because it weaves that magical story. Let's talk about the movie The Jungle Book, where Seti, of course, is only the real person, and all the animals have a fantastic degree of description, photorealism, which means description, and Seti's interaction with animals throughout the duration of the movie, given that they are CGI, which means animated, is completely convincing. He combines innocence and warmth with the survival skills and resourcefulness of someone far older. While Favreau is faithful to the old elements, old songs like bare necessities included, of course, he also brings in a few new subtle touches as well as in order to keep things interesting. While the King Louis scene is one of the many high points, Scar's screen time could have been lengthened a bit though. Nonetheless, the performance of the voice cast is spot on, but more than anything, the intricate landscaping, masterful camera work, and environment create a delightfully immersive experience, heartwarming and enjoyable. So, this is what the viewer thinks, that everything is perfect, but the screen time of Ka could have been more, and King Louis' entrance, which was not there previously, has added a high point to the movie. So the factors that have made Jungle Book a great movie: first, its fantasy wonder of world. The effective animation and presentation of wild animals make the movie interesting. The story of the movie is unique. The film is a perfect blend of heart-touching story, journey in the world of fantasy, emotional scenes, and good direction. So let's discuss a very important aspect as to know which film you are talking about. So let's discuss types of films, which is also called as genres, film genres. So your film genres could be anything and everything from action films to adventure films, comedy, crime, dramas, horror, musical, science fiction, war films, western, detective films, biography, mystery films, etc. So you really need to know what film you are watching and what is the genre of the film. For example, Rock On is a musical film, Kahani is a mystery film, Bomkesh Bakshi is a detective film, whereas Bhag Milka Bhag is a biography film which talks about the story of a person's life written by someone else. So you need to know your genres in order to complete your first paragraph in film reviewing. Steps to write a film review. Step 1. Before watching the movie, make a study of the relevance of the title. Is the title relevant to what the movie is? Is there any correlation between the title and the movie? Next, we need to know the year of release, the name of the script writer, the name of the director of the movie, the producers, and key characters as well as supporting characters, along with the genre of the film, the type of film. Step 2. While watching the film, we must attentively watch as many times as required and take notes about major and minor events, scenes, locations, plot, characters, moral, music, direction, set design, etc. Step 3. After watching the movie, choose an appropriate format for review writing. Organize the sequence of events commented according to importance. Make use of proper language and vocabulary. Actual writing of the report, typing, editing, proofreading, re-editing, and then present your review. Let us discuss the structure of a film review. You would basically write your film review in 3 paragraphs. The first paragraph will talk about the introduction, in which you summarize all the background information of the film, the title of the film, the name of the author or the script writer, the director, the type of the film or the genre, the setting, which means the place, when and where the film is taken place, the theme, the main characters, etc. The second The second paragraph is the main body, which has the first and second paragraph, which talks about the main points of the plot presented in chronological order, but we need to keep in mind that we do not have to reveal the ending. Next is paragraph number 2, which has general comments on the plot, the main characters, how the acting was, how the directing was, etc. Next is the conclusion, in which an overall assessment of the work or recommendation, usually with justification. If you've liked the film, what are the key points that you liked? If you dislike the film, what are the key points that you disliked, will come in paragraph number 3, that is conclusion. Film review of the movie Narnia. Here we will be discussing how to write the first paragraph, which will include the title of the movie, the genre of the movie, the key characters of the movie, and what the movie is all about. So here, the movie The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe is based on the 1915 novel, which was written by C.S. Lewis, who is famous for writing children's epic fantasy series. This movie was made in the year 2005, and the producers were Walden Media and Walt Disney Pictures. So there were 4 children who have been evacuated during the blitz to the countryside and who find their way to a wardrobe that leads them to the world of Narnia. In the world of Narnia, they find an ally, Aslan, who is a lion, and they fight against the force of a white witch whose name is Jadis. So this is your first paragraph, which will include a small summary of the movie along with the details of the movie, which means the year of release, the type of movie, the main characters, the supporting characters, the director, the script writer, and the producers. So in this slide, we will be talking about how to write your second and third paragraph, which will be discussing about the plot in a chronological order, as well as the details of the entire story, about the theme of the story, about the message it tries to convey. So here the theme of the story is how there is a conflict between the good and the evil. So while playing hide and seek, the children discover a magical wardrobe that takes them to the enchanted island of Narnia. So the beautiful cinematography and the performance of the children and the world of fantasy and magic speaking animal is an awesome experience to watch the movie on big screen. However, there are some low points as well in the movie, which is the separation of the children from their mother, death of some animals, and the witches yelling are presented in such a way that brings pain to the audience. There is a basic conflict of the movies between the good and the evil, and each part of the movie has a slightly different representation. So, the theme or the message of the movie is triumph of good over the evil. The success of the film is not only touching the heart of the audience but also making them believe in fantasy and imagination. The cinematography and the animation are perfect that the animals look just real as the other characters. The film not only entertains but it also mesmerizes and enlightens the audience by opening the door of new world of imagination. It is the movie which provides audience with good music, adventure, unity and sacrifice for each other. The movie can be enjoyed by people of all age groups. So here we are just letting out a little detail of the movie and also telling our viewers or the readers that how the movie is better because it's got cinematography, it's got animation, it enlightens the audience, it entertains the audience, plus it has a message that it has unity and sacrifice and the triumph of good over evil. So, this is your second and third paragraph, which needs to be followed accordingly. Here we'll be discussing the career opportunities in filmmaking and film producing. So to be a good costume design, you need to have the knowledge of changing fashion, you need to have the knowledge of creative sense of color, etc. To be a good set designer, you need to have the sense of color scheme and be creative. To be a good cinematographer, you need to have the eye for detail, understanding of lighting techniques, cameraman, you need to have the knowledge of lights, perseverance, ability to work hard, and ability to use the instrument effectively. In order to be a good lyricist, you need to have strong vocabulary, power of imagination, creativity, ability of expression, etc. To be a good script writer, you need to be imaginative, knowledge of the genre, language, and literature, ability to work hard, and to be disciplined. To be a good music director, you need to be talented. Knowledge of music is a must. Creative leadership qualities and quality of perseverance also is a must. To be a producer or a director, you need to have the visionary, you need to have the creative mind, you need to have the management skills, planning and organizational skills as well. To me, to be a actor, male or female, you need to know your acting, you need to have voice modulation, body language and facial expressions. These are some of the vocabulary that you would need while writing a good film review. There are some adjectives referring to films. For example, if you want to say that the film was good, instead of good, which is a blah word, you can use some brilliant words that is fantastic, gripping, nail biting, convincing, long running, well developed, superb, original, excellent, etc. If you think the film was exciting, you could say that the film was action packed, full of suspense, scary, or thriller. If you think your film was funny, say it was amusing, entertaining, hilarious. If it was sad, say it was moving, touching. If it was boring, say it was unimaginative or dull. If it was bad, say terrible, awful, dreadful, poor, unrealistic, predictable, unbelievable. So you could use these adjectives instead of some blah words and make your film review to be fantastic. Use adjectives ending in ing to describe people or things. For example, the film was not interesting and I was bored. Use adjectives ending in ed to describe people's feelings, which I just told you. When you are describing a plot of a film, use the present simple tense. For example, the leading actor wants to find out the lost boy, so he goes into the jungle. Okay, so you will use the present simple while describing the plot. These are some useful expressions which will help you write a good film review. For example, if you're writing about the background of the film, you will say the film tells the story of, or the film is based on, the film starts, etc. The main points of the plot, the story concern or is about or begins with. The plot is boring or thrilling. General comments is it is rather long, boring, confusing or slow. It has a tragic, dramatic end. Recommendations, don't miss it, it is worth seeing. Or it's bound to be a box office hit or a blockbuster. Or I highly, thoroughly recommend it. So these are some useful expressions that you all can use while writing a perfect film review. This is a checklist where you need to check what are the points that you have missed and check the box accordingly. For example, if you have included the title of your film review, check the box. If you have summarized the plot without giving away the ending, check. If you have included a strong lead or introduction, check. If you have discussed significant characters and actors, check. If you have discussed important technical elements, if you have evaluated the sound or the music track, if you have stated and evaluated the theme, if you have included a strong conclusion summarizing the ideas, if you have edited your review for spelling and grammatical errors, you need to check all these boxes. So, for a good film review, all these boxes need to be checked, and once you check all these boxes, you should be rest assured that you have written a perfect film review. Let's review another film called Super 30. So this is your first paragraph. I have written it point wise. However, you need to make a paragraph out of this. So the film we are talking about is Super 30, and the genre of the film is a biographic drama based on the real life of Anand Kumar, who is a mathematics educator. The film is written by Sanjeev Datta, directed by Vikas Bahal, and produced by Sajid Nadiawala and Reliance Entertainment. The actors in the movie are Hrithik Roshan, Runal Thakur, and Pankaj Tripathi. This slide explains the second and third paragraph where it talks about the story Super 30, which is an inspiring story of a math genius, Anand Kumar, who is attempting to change the lives of mediocres or destitute students, 30 at a time, despite the rousing tale and fine performances. The film is bogged down by the lengthy runtime and needless doses of drama. So this first paragraph can be included in your first paragraph, that is your introduction, wherein it gives a little dose of what the film is all about. Then we talk about the second paragraph, which talks about the plot. So you can say that Super 30 introduces Hrithik Roshan as Anand Kumar with a flashback which gets him a seat in a prestigious university of Cambridge. However, he is unable to attend because of lack of money. And then he goes door to door looking for sponsorship as his father passes away and he is forced to do mediocre jobs made by his mother. Anand's fortune turns around when he is discovered by Lalan Singh, who is Aditya Srivastav, who is the head of the coaching center of IIT Institute of Technology, and brings him aboard as a teacher. As the movie progresses, Anand realizes that there are many other like him who are forced to give up their dreams because of their circumstances, and that is why he decides to give up the good life and open a free coaching center for such deserving students. The minuses of the film are, though Hrithik Roshan tries hard to look convincing as Anand Kumar, the brown makeup just does not add the cut. So apart from the film, we are talking about the intricacies, the little minute details of how the makeup was, how the music was, and how it has added the impact to the film. So strangely enough, though so much work has gone into giving the actor a darker complexion, nothing is done about his naturally hazel green eyes. His Bihari accent leaves us too much desired. However, if you can look past these, he delivers an earnest performance. So we are saying that his performance was undoubtedly great. However, there are minute flaws in the film which can be looked upon. The other supporting actor, like Pankaj Tripathi, who plays the role of the education minister and runs a flourishing coaching business, is fantastic. The other supporting character, which is Mrunal Thakur, has a very little role to play in her own sense. However, she holds on to that role. Aditi Srivastav too delivers a solid performance. Coming to the last paragraph, that is conclusion, we can talk about the other details of the film. For example, the duration, which was 2 hours 42 minutes, which was a long film, and the love story, which had no significance to the film, could have easily done away with. Certain parts of Super 30 also seemed far-fetched. For example, one of the students who was shot by a mug miraculously gives a musical performance in few hours and also cracks the IIT JEE despite missing out of months of training. So the director's film, which is Super 30, unnecessarily amps up the drama where they can see a sequence of the Super 30 students fed off a gang of professional assassins trying to attack Anand at the hospital. So the real Anand Kumar and his team are miraculous, turn out to be miracle. However, the real film under the guidance of Vikas Behel, Hrithik Roshan Super 30 is far from one. So it does not get the required stars and it bogs down in front of the audience. So this is all from me today, and this is me signing off. If you have any questions, please post it on the group or the comments and I'll be happy to answer all of them. Thank you very much.